It's CardKast with Mike and Lenz, the show about everything sports cards, autographs, and memorabilia. I'm Len plus Z, and this is the Mail Day opening video edition. Hello, everybody, and happy weekend to you as we're getting ready to wrap it up. It is March 14th, 2021, and I am going to do not a revision, but just kind of like a update on eBay standard envelope. I've been doing it now for, it's like literally 2 days, over a month, to the day. So I think my first sales were February 13th. And I figured I'd give you guys just some stats and some numbers and things like that, and some of the disappointments, but some of the like pleasantly surprising results. So the reason for the display is because I just wanted to show you, with only, 550 items in my store. These were all store items. There was no auction, no auctionables here. And this is all clearly lesser expensive stuff. This is all stuff that sold within the last 24 hours. So it is Sunday, March 14th. There's actually a couple of other smaller items that have sold that I'm going to get ready to pack and ship and get it out tomorrow. And this is the Eco Swift savers. I think I was calling them Eco Savers, but these are the company's Eco Swift. And this, you see the 71 cents postage. It does have a tracking number, ESU S38008354. So I want to go over the pros and the cons. So, one of the pros is obviously within the last 24 hours, usually the weekends are really heavy on sales for this stuff. It has been since I started. I think every single weekend I've been sending out, from Friday night to Monday morning for the sales. I've probably been sending out 30 to 60 packages a week. This is going to result in about 20, but I sent out 10 yesterday. I wanted to make sure I got to the post office yesterday morning because I already had 10 sales in the bag from Friday night to Saturday morning. So we'll see. I'll probably have more sales throughout the day and even more tomorrow, and I'll probably end up dropping off, a huge stack of these bad boys at the post office. So I will go back to the post office thing because that kind of comes into play here of some of the things I've figured out. There's a lot of questions about eBay standard envelope, and I did my best. I mean, I spent more time on the phone with eBay, Pitney Bowes, the post office, the people at the post office, and I still don't have an exact understanding of how this is all going down and how the tracking is being tracked and uploaded. And, for somebody that has a lot of control, for somebody like myself that's a top rated power seller, I want to know these things, and I'm sure you do too. So I'm going to go over the pros and cons. I'm going to go over the cons first, because as shocking as the cons are, the pros, in my opinion, absolutely outweigh the cons. So what I ended up doing was I went back, and this took me about 2.5 hours to gather all of this data. I had a total of, 433 cards sold in the past month based off of this eBay standard envelope. There were 353 packages, but what I did was I backed out roughly 50 packages because they were still kind of like in the process. So keep in mind, when I put this data together, it's pretty much where I saw the first package being delivered, which was, I believe, sometime, during the last business week. So what I have 307 packages that I sent out. That was like with the combined shipping. I don't know what the exact total cards were, but there was, cards that were combined. So 307 packages within the month. And the downside is only, and I went through one by one, 201 were showed as delivered. Okay, so 2/3 of the total number, was showed as delivered, and roughly 106 were not shown as delivered. That is if that doesn't blow your mind as far as like trust and leap of faith and things like that, yeah, come over and do, this is eBay. Come over, yeah, we got this thing. It's got tracking. It's 71 cents or whatever. Man, it is what it's really what you pay for. I mean, you're getting what you pay for. So it is absolutely mind blowing that only 2/3 are showing up as delivered. And this is going back. I mean, there's things that I sent out in February that are just in the abyss. Now, the mini positive about that in the cons is 60 are showing 60 out of the 106. Okay. 60 are showing as not delivered, but no feedback have been left. Okay. So even though they show tracking that they're just out there, chances are they were delivered. Okay. I think for right now, we have to look at this eBay standard envelope as like a hybrid of it's got tracking, or it's kind of like PWE, but it's like a little bit firmer. The stuff does get, machined, or the packages get machined. So you almost have to if you're going to look at it with an open mind, you kind of have to look at it like that. If you are like, obsessed about, I mean, everybody should be obsessed about if you're a seller, getting your item to the buyers. And lots of times because, the sellers don't want to have to deal with returns, or, hey, I didn't get my item, and deal with refunds and things like that. So it's a two-way street there. So but now 46 out of the 106 showed as not delivered, but positive feedback left. So that kind of goes to show me that, obviously, there's the tracking is heavily flawed. Okay. This envelope and the way this barcode is, that cannot be scanned in by a postal worker. So what I've ended up finding out is, and fortunately for me, one is close by, but you almost have to get these in order to get the tracking uploaded and scanned in within a 24-hour period, which is like eBay standards, especially if you want to keep your power seller rating, top rated seller status. You have to find in your state the nearest letter processing center. So this is considered a letter, and it's a machinable letter. And through the machines, I believe that's how the tracking gets uploaded and kind of sent over to Pitney Bowes. I think these particular letters go to other, throughout the United States, other letter processing centers, and that's how the tracking kind of gets updated. And then my theory is that before around the time that they're supposed to be getting delivered, Pitney Bowes updates that tracking themselves, and it's not the post office. Post office, their scanners, they don't comply with this. I would have thought that there would have been maybe like something that printed out on it that they could scan it and showed as tracked, because what kind of backs my theory up on that is that I've had a couple questions where one person was like, hey, it shows that my item was delivered, but I didn't get it. And that could be a common scam, but the guy wasn't scamming. The card's like $2 or $3 or whatever. And it actually ended up, I told him, I said, hang tight. It showed up later that day. And he's like, wow. He's like, I just don't understand that. And again, the other thing too is, so where I think the flaws are, I think it's with Pitney Bowes. It's a combination of the Pitney Bowes and the post office, I think. So whether if you see, say, like a package that is like gets like halfway there, chances are in the tracking process, it probably missed its last letter scanner place, letter processing center, and went directly, say, to the post office for delivery, and Pitney Bowes just never updated it. So that is why you have probably 1/3 of the packages not being finalized and scanned in. So that is shocking and scary to anybody that is looking to get into the eBay standard envelope business. All right. Having said all that, I've called eBay multiple times about this, and if you are a power seller, and they will back you. I've also, I've gone to like, say like you call and you're dealing with the person that is reading off script and things like that. I've gotten to the higher levels and what they've basically been telling me is they are working on a better system. I don't think they should have unrolled this until they had this like locked down. There's no excuse for a third of the packages just not, being out there and just not being delivered. I mean, that is insane. That means right now, because when I called and said, I think 46 that left the positive well, I didn't know it was 46 at the time, but I was giving the person examples like, look, these people are leaving me positive feedback. They got their cards and it's showing that that it's not been delivered. So they took a bunch of examples. We kind of made a case out of it, and nothing happened. But if somebody were to open up a request, I guess I'm protected, and eBay will actually issue the refund. But it's still a very uneasy feeling to let all that stuff go. All right. Those are the cons. All right. And those are some pretty scary cons right there. But here are the pros. 433 cards sold, 353 packages in 1 month. All right. That's with only an average of 450 to 500 cards in my store. I can't even keep up with the liquidity of the sales. Like, I can't believe how liquid this stuff is. This is better than any card show I've done. Cards are going for $2, $3, $4 a card. I mean, I did just in that month on all, like, say, like the lesser expensive stuff, a total of $1,800 in sales on the 433 cards on this type of stuff. I'm just going to roll over here, Oscar Gamble autograph, semi-star and lower tier Hall of Famers from the 70s, a little bit of stuff from the 60s, 50 Bowman, Jordan card, LeBron card that are $5, $6, $7 a piece or whatever. Like I said, $85 in sales sitting right here that I would find very hard to get that at a show, even close to that. You're not getting that from a dealer. You're not getting that from a guy off the street. Like, this is the place to sell this stuff with that kind of tracking. So the liquidity is huge. It was an average of $4.15 per sale. I love it. Okay. And that's not including, those total sales that isn't including the eBay fees taken out, but we're not including the shipping. So the shipping, they paid separately. I charge $1.25 a card, which pretty much covers just about everything except for the 13%. If the cards are going out at 71 cents, if they go out 91 cents because they took a bunch, great, because, you're saving 30 cents a card if they take stuff in bulk. So, for the transaction fee. So now with 60 items being not delivered and no positive feedback left, you would think that my message box would be full of questions. In the past month, I've only had to deal with 3 questions. My own paranoia was calling eBay left and right going, you guys are nuts for doing this because you're just giving the powers to the buyers, and this is a mess. But I've only had 3 questions. Okay. One guy who I just recently spoke to was like, I feel uneasy about the process. I was thinking about doing this myself. Basically he inquired. I told him, look, the tracking is really clunky. It'll show nothing for a while, and then boom, your card will be delivered. And sure enough, that happened. He got the card, left me positive feedback, sent me a message about it. And, but still the tracking does not show up as delivered on that card. So kind of scary there. Again, from what I was told, if you get a small series or a batch of people that are claiming they didn't get their items, it's best to wait until like a Saturday morning and just address it with eBay all at once, as opposed to calling eBay every time there's a smaller issue. So kind of a pain in the butt, but again, I was more or less being proactive in calling eBay because I'm so frenzied about how bad this tracking system is, that I wanted answers. So, but with only 3 questions, that's not bad, considering that technically there's 60 packages outstanding. But what I believe is that those 60 packages were actually delivered and kind of handled as just like a standard letter. And those people my other theory is that, probably 50 to 60% of the people do not leave positive feedback for transactions for items that they receive, because of how many sales I do and how many feedback I actually get left. So, so I feel that those are probably, out of the 100 people, 46 left feedback, 60 didn't. So it's kind of backs that up a little bit, just, kind of stumbled upon that. So, let's see. So 0 refunds were issued. All right. So far it's been a month and I haven't had any cases open against me. I haven't even had to go down the length of trying to fight because of showed tracking. So, so that's obviously a plus. If you're into positive feedback, just because of the sheer volume, and even though positive feedback today doesn't really mean anything, because anybody who's good's got over 10,000 feedback anyways, even though I'm shy of 10,000, but I'm getting there very quickly. And but your feedback just balloons. Your positive feedback just like it's like at 10, 15 a day, just going up. So and that's also partially because of the auctions that I run and that too. So, but anyways, my final thought on this is, and just really quickly going back. So the reason why you want to try to find a letter processing center, if one is not close to you, it's probably not worth doing. It's just going to be a struggle until they really get this like tightened up and straightened out, which I think they will eventually. I think they unleashed this too soon, and I think the tracking is clunky as far as that. But the reason why you want to go to a place that's a letter I had to do some digging. Whatever post offices I was leaving my packages at, again, unscanned, because they don't have a way to scan them in, they were eventually going to Hartford, Connecticut. And that's eventually when they would get scanned. It'd be like 18, 19, like past the 24 hours of standard tracking and uploading. And that's actually another positive too so far, is that in the past month, there was only 7 that showed up as late. So that 7 and keeping in that 99.9% or whatever of tracking uploading on time, I don't even think they're really, eBay is really, really holding it to you. And if you want to call and complain and get some of that stuff removed, you probably can. But going back to getting this to the letter processing center, every single time I dropped these off in Hartford, later that day, that stuff was scanned in because they got machined. And before I get into my final thought, is in my last video of how to pack and ship these things and not to use regular envelopes. And again, you have to use these cardboard, EcoSwift savers, card savers. These are 8x6 by flat. So you want to, I was putting, now I think some of my disruptions on my tracking was I was using a thinner Dymo label strip. Okay. So you want to use a big strip where the scan can be read easily as it's being machined. Okay. The other thing that I was told too at the Hartford office was don't stamp fragile, because I have a fragile stamper. Don't stamp fragile on your packages, because some may get through the letter processing center and some may not. So that could be some of the contributing to the higher percentage of items that weren't tracked. So that part of that could be my fault. But what I do know is that if eBay recognizes and sees you getting the items there and they're uploaded on time within that 24 hours, like the Hartford Letter Processing Center, which is part of their post office, eBay will definitely definitely side with you more if you run into issues. But so far, knock on wood, we're good. So so if you are looking to do volume and you have a little bit of, I could take my hands off the reins and I don't feel bad about it. I could sleep at night. I'm not worried about, the 2 people that are going to purposely try to screw me out of $10. You're going to do well. If you are worried about somebody getting one over on you and you are just, all about principle and you have to deal mentally with the mess of this tracking, it's probably not for you, but you could still make a ton of money if you attempt it anyways. So my suggestion would be, try to get over that and just move stuff out. And really, I've seen things in different rooms where people would, they were high into doing PWE. And I've seen, and I'm just taking one thing out of context here, but I saw somebody post like, listen, I listed over the past 2 years, I've had 5,000 sales and only 4 refunds. So to do that kind of volume and lose any kind of that, that little money, I'm all for. So hopefully as we're doing this and we're all doing this together, the tracking gets straightened out and becomes more reliable, and then there will be even less issues. But I have the feeling that most of the stuff actually got there. That is it for right now. I am going to be doing a video. I have a nice PSA return, so I'm going to be doing actually a more traditional mail day. I have some eBay pickups I'm going to be doing later on today. So there's going to be 2 videos today. Sorry about the podcast again. I have, 2 guys that I'm working with that our schedules all kind of got botched, and my schedule got botched earlier in the week with having to do some moves and things like that. So anyways, thank you guys very much for hanging out. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, positive experiences, if you work for Pitney Bowes and you know what the hell is going on and you want to share some insight about the actual, soup to nuts on how to get the way the whole tracking system works, please chime in with some comments. And I'll even have you come on the show if you're willing to talk on the show. So, all right. Thank you guys. A sincere thank you to all the listeners out there. If you like the show, please like, share, and comment below, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you will be notified when all of our new shows are uploaded. Click on the links below to join Mike and Len's Facebook page loaded with sports memorabilia content. Visit Mike's opening day break room to see tons of new products opened up daily that you can participate in. And lastly, visit our eBay store, CardKast, to look for the newest auctions of sports cards and memorabilia uploaded weekly. And we're out.